Dennis, this is the elementary Sunday school lesson for this coming Sunday, February 3rd. Thank you so much for helping us out. I didn't realize how completely unavailable all my teachers were, including myself, for this week. But I think it's a neat story. It's one I know the kids like. We're reading the mustard seed and yeast parable from Jesus. This is the Bible story. It's on page 226 of the Shine Bible. The story itself is quite short. And if you wanted to have children read it, it's like 3 paragraphs. You could have 3 volunteers. If only one person wants to, that's fine. The range of ages or the range of numbers in Sunday school has been anywhere from like 8 to 10 kids. So it's been a pretty full class. One of the childcare workers, hopefully Floyd, will be in there helping you out. So the activities, well, the idea is that this is Jesus talking about the kingdom of God being like a mustard seed, and so many analogies you can take from there, right? Is it with the pre-K group, we talk about how something really small can make a big impact on the world because a small seed gets really big. It's about, I think in the elementary class, it's about seed being something you plant for growth, and having a small action, for example, being kind to one person, can have a growth effect that then brings love, brings joy, brings happiness into the world for other people, even when you start small. So there's a lot of different ways. You could even ask the children kind of like what their ideas are on that. The questions for the story are on page 63 of the lesson plan that I'll send you a copy of. And so here are the 2 questions that I liked. You can go from here. I wonder why Jesus decided to tell parables to the people. I wonder why Jesus chose to tell parables about a mustard seed and yeast. So these are some ideas of speaking, talking to people in terms of stories. What's the value of that? Why would Jesus have chosen to do that as opposed to just saying, God's love is really big? And so that also can be a good discussion point. Along with that, I have for you to show them actual mustard seeds. And they probably are already familiar with these, but it's always fun to kind of pass them around and show them kind of what they look like, these small little round seeds. And then in addition to that, and you can force them out on a plate or whatever, I've also brought ground mustard. So this is not only a demonstration of kind of what the seed is, how it's kind of used on a more normal basis, but it also looks a lot more like yeast. So it gives a good size comparison when the story is talking about mustard seed versus yeast. That's kind of what the difference is in how they look as well. If I can get some actual yeast before the day of, I will do that for you. So these will be in the classroom to share with the kids after the story is read. And then the other activities are planting some seeds. So this is on page 64, down here in the other ideas section. And if there's other things you see on this page that you want to do, that's great too. I kind of pick out 2 or 3 that I like and go with that and set up materials. But if you see anything else within the lesson plan that you want to do, that is no problem at all. But I think it's fun. This is a very hands-on activity. I have these plastic cups that'll be in there. With a Sharpie, they can write their name on it. They'll fill it with soil that I'll leave in the room as well, about this high. Do this on the tables so that the soil doesn't get into the carpet or anything. And then I have some wildflower seeds that they can plant in there. Just a few seeds is all it's going to take. And then we'll water them and let them sit on the windowsill. There's a nice big windowsill, several of them. And we'll watch them throughout the days, or throughout the weeks. So they can kind of get this sense of here's how our seeds are growing. The metaphor for how our seeds of love are growing. Love is the theme of this week as well in our worship. So it ties in. As well as our overall theme this quarter of social justice, which is about obviously how we are impacting positive change in the world. The other thing I have, so if they finish planting their cups and their seeds and they want to just sit quietly, they can do this kind of word search thing. It's basically there's a code up here and you fill in the blanks down here to come up with the thing. This is just a, hey, I finished early. I want to sit quietly while I wait for my peers to finish before we watch our video. And this is what they can do to keep from disrupting others. And so I do have a couple of videos. I'll send you the links, but I'll also, I will launch them from my computer onto the television in the Element in the Purple room where you guys will meet at 10. And they're like a time lapse of a plant growing, which is just always fun to watch. One of them is actually like flowers blooming, and the other one is like a seed growing from, being planted, like what they're doing this week. So I'll have a couple of those you can show them at the very end. Those will be no longer than 5 minutes, so it'll be kind of a very end of the thing. We find it's a nice way to calm the room down too if it's a little too rowdy. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much, and I'll see you Sunday.